Welcome, friends, to this new series of containers and Kubernetes. So, in this particular lecture, we will see how we can use the port mapping and how the port mapping can be useful in our real life applications. Okay, so now in the last lecture, we have created one Nginx container and we ran it from the web browser to see the Nginx container is running fine. Now, we are going to create the same Nginx container this time, and this time we are not going to specify any kind of ports. If we do so, we need to do docker run minus t minus minus name. We can give a good name over here like some Nginx to identify our container with the name some Nginx, and then we need to specify the container name as Nginx. We are not going to give any tag, so it will download the latest tag with Nginx container. Now, as we already have the Nginx in our system, so it did not download the Nginx from the Docker Hub repository. Directly, it uses the same image and spin up the container. Now, if we see the Docker PS, we can see the Nginx container is running. Now, which port it is actually using? We know the default port of Nginx is port number 80. So the host machine is also having the port 80 open. And if we grab the external IP address of this container and go to our browser and say HTTP and then forward slash, and then we specify this. And we can see the Nginx is running fine from the default port. Now, let's remove this Docker container. We're going to use a rm minus f, that is the force delete of this Nginx container. If we do so, it will be removed from the system. Now, if we want to specify a specific port from the host to run the Docker container, what exactly we need to do? We need to type the same command, docker run minus d minus minus name, some nginx, maybe we can say 1, and minus p, maybe we can specify the port 8080 colon 80. So now this 8080 will be the host port, and this 80 is the container port. So we are actually mapping port 80 to 8080. We are specifying these to Docker, and we are requesting the Docker, please run port number 80 from the container to port number 8080 of the actual host machine. If we do so, and we can specify the Nginx image, we can able to run the same container from 8080 of the host. So if we refresh this page, it will no longer will work. But if we specify this 8080 port over here, again, it started running because our actual port 80 is mapped to 8080 of the host. Okay, so now what exactly the use case of this port mapping? Now, suppose you are having a microservices, a number of microservices running in the same machine. So, for example, we are having Hello World 1 application that is running in the same server, and we are having the Hello World 2 running also in the same cluster of the servers. Okay, and we can run both of them with different ports. Okay, so each microservice will run in a separate port. For example, we can say we are going to use a hello.txt file, and maybe we can say hello world from first container, and going to run this in hello.txt file, and then we're going to copy this hello.txt file. So the command is docker cp hello.txt, and then the name of the container, that is some nginx1, and this is our default directory from where the index.html file is served to Nginx. So if you're going to copy this one, it is successfully copied this hello.txt file, and you refresh this page, you can see the hello world first container message coming from the microservice one. Now, we're going to do the same thing. Maybe we can run the next container from 8081 port, and we can specify the Docker on -d, and we are going to name this container as SAM Nginx2, and we are mapping this port 8081 with 80 from the container. And if we do so, our container is going to be running on 8081 in the host machine. Now, we're going to echo the same message, but it is from second container because this is the second microservice. And we're going to copy this hello.txt file again in the second container's index.html file. If we do so, we can grab the IP address from here, and if we go in the browser and say HTTP and then slash, and we say 8081, we will see that it is saying that the second container is running from these ports. So 8081 is serving this second container's web page, and 8080, which is serving first container web page. So we can run number of microservices with the help of port mapping, and there are several other use cases as well. So I would like you to comment those things under the video section.
Thank you friends for watching this video. We from the Learning Light team wants to congratulate you for completing this video. In the upcoming videos we will run few more containers and we'll see how we can spin containers to run database engines. We are requesting you to subscribe this channel so that we will be encouraged to provide you such tutorials in future. Thank you and see you in next video.